And welcome to this week's tutorial. This one is actually a great one for beginners. I actually use this one in my own home. I got really tired of all the clutter and overwhelm and kid mess, so I bought a ton of bins and cube storage, and maybe you have a ton of bins and cube storage as well, and I realized that I needed some labels. So I took walnut plywood. I use 1/8 inch because I think that's a good one. Even 1/16 inch would be fine because the depth or dimension is not really an asset in this case. So, even wood veneer would be pretty cool for this actually. So wood veneer, 1/16 inch plywood, or up to 1/8 inch looks fine on my bins. Okay. So I am going to start with a simple rectangle tool. If you do not have this and it's a different shape here instead, or a line segment, just click and hold it open, or hold it until it opens and select your rectangle. All right. I'm going to just click and it brings up this dimensions box. Okay. So you can constrain your width and height proportions if you need to, but we don't need to here. For my bins, I think I've got the IKEA Calyx storage, so and just the regular bins that fit in that one. And 3 inches wide by 1.5 inches high is the perfect size for mine. Okay. However, I don't want just a weird, it's not weird, it's fine. A sharp cornered rectangle. I would like to round the corners. So we're going to zoom in. And I did that on my computer. So I did Command plus on my Mac. It's Control plus on a PC, or you can zoom here if you need to, okay? Then we're going to kind of move our mouse around until we find this little dial here, this little kind of target. You'll see it in all 4 corners. And just click that and just draw it in to round all 4 of your corners. I'm going to do a 0.23 inch round, but you can round it just as much as you prefer. Okay, so now let's come back up to our selection tool, and I want you to notice something that I usually fix right away and didn't in this case. If you come up here, this is the fill color, and this is the stroke color, and this one is a white fill rather than an empty fill. And since this tutorial is geared towards super beginners, like this could be your first file, I'm going to just show you a way to kind of prevent forgetting to get rid of your fill. Okay, so View, Show Grid. And now it's really clear that this has a color in it, right? Even though that color is white, your Glowforge will read it as an engrave. You don't want that, okay? So let's go ahead up here. And instead of a white fill, you want a none fill. So this white with the red slash mark through it. Oh wait, it's probably best to select your piece first and then do that. All right, and you see how the white disappeared and it's just, you can see the grid through it, so you know that you are in pretty good shape. You can also view Snap to Grid just if you want to line it up nice and perfectly. There's 0 reason to do that for this file, but in case you want to know that trick. Okay, so now what we want to do is grab our type tool. So right here, and I'm going to use, let's make the box first. It comes up with Lorem Ipsum, which is just filler text, and it comes up, at least on mine, my default font is Myriad Pro. I'm going to use Wild Mango, I think, mostly because that's what I used for my first ones, and I want them to stay consistent. So Lorem Ipsum, we obviously don't want our bins to say that. So I am going to put, let's see here. My kid has an ever-increasing amount of doll stuff. So I'm going to make her dolls. And then I'm going to use the direct selection tool. So I'm off the type tool because I finished typing. Now I'm going to hold down Shift as I click one of these boxes. So you'll see the little boxes around the edge here. Some of them let you move it that way, some that way, blah, blah, blah. But if you hold down Shift and click any of them and drag, it will resize without stretching your font. Let me show you without holding down Shift. See, that's not a good look, right? So we really want to pay attention and make sure that we're holding down Shift as we resize so that our text or our font does not get stretched all over the place. Okay, I actually don't want mine to be super big, just more like that. And now I'm going to right click and create outlines. It is crucial that you do this because the Glowforge does not read fonts or doesn't read text. You have to create outlines for the Glowforge to know what to do, okay? If you picked a script font instead of a print font like I did, you'll also want to click under your Pathfinder panel, click to unite. If you don't have this Pathfinder panel, you can find it under Window, Pathfinder. It'll bring up this whole section here, and you'll use this one that's, you can kind of hover over each of them to see what the names are. This one's Unite, okay? Now, let's go back over to our Properties panel. And I'm clicking and dragging to select everything. Okay, so it's selecting my font and my tag. Okay, so click and drag, select it all. I'm using my Align panel to horizontal align center and vertical align center. And that's because I'm terrible at eyeballing stuff. I'm really bad at it. And a lot of you are as well. If you don't have that panel, you can find it Object Align, Horizontal Align Center, Object Align, Vertical Align Center, okay? It's important to realize as you're getting started with design that there are lots of ways to do the same thing in Illustrator. It's a really versatile tool. So I try not to overwhelm you with options, but to just kind of show you one or two ways to do things here and there. Okay, so at this point, you can, it's important that you save your file appropriately, and I'm going to show you how to do that in just one moment. I just wanted to tell you, if you are not aware, I do have a 5-week file design course. It is called Filemakers Academy, and it is geared toward Glowforge users, though I've had other laser users use it successfully as well. And it teaches you, it walks you through from really, really, really simple, like this level of beginner projects, all the way up to advanced projects that you will be impressed with yourself that you can create. And so I will put the link to the sales page with all the information in the description area, and I hope that you will check it out. If you have any questions, you're welcome to leave them in the comments, and I will address them. So there we go. Okay, so now let me go ahead and come on up to File, Save. Now, this is a step a lot of people don't take, and it's not required. I'm going to first save it as an Adobe Illustrator file. The reason I do that is because it's easier to edit Illustrator files than it is to edit SVG files later on down the road. It isn't impossible by any means to edit an SVG, but it's good to get in a habit early. So, Dolls Bin Label. And it's really good to get in the habit of saving your files with really specific titles like that. Okay, so first I'm just going to save it as an Adobe Illustrator file. Okay, you don't need to mess with any of that, and hit OK. Now you want to come File, Save As. It's important that you save as and not export. Save as. And we're going to click on the format here. If you're on a PC, this will look different, but just look for wherever it says .ai and change it to SVG. Hit save, and you've got a couple things to pay attention to here. First of all, this SVG 1.0 up at the top, okay? That's a good version to use. Then you want to make sure that responsiveness is turned off, okay? So it will likely, if you've never changed it before, it will likely be checked. Uncheck it. This makes sure that when you save your SVG and then you use it in the Glowforge, it doesn't pop up as a completely different size. We specifically chose 3 inches wide for our bin labels for a reason. We don't want to upload it to Glowforge and it be 6 inches all of a sudden, right? Okay, then hit OK. And you're good to go. You can take that file. Hopefully you paid attention to where you saved yours. I always save mine in a particular spot so I know where to find them. And you can just upload them right into the Glowforge interface, okay? This font will engrave and the shape around the edge will cut out. I personally back mine with 3M adhesive, and I have on my Instagram at the Fable Tree, I have a reel all about 3M adhesive, so I encourage you to go follow me over there if you're not sure what I'm talking about or if you don't know how to use 3M. And it is a permanent adhesive, so I have to understand that when I am putting this on those bins, that's their name. The dolls are always going to go there. We're not going to change it later. Or if we do, maybe we would just stick some veneer over it and it wouldn't be the end of the world. So that's how I do it. You could also use less permanent adhesive of some sort, maybe a command strip or something, but up to you. Okay, that's it for this week. I will see you next week. And if you are new here, if you're a beginner here, welcome. I hope that you will subscribe to my channel and check out Filemakers Academy. See you next week.